I don't write code. I've never written a line of Pine script in my life. This is a custom TradingView indicator I built anyway. It marks my setup automatically every morning and it keeps score. 3 weeks of real statistics on whether my model actually does what I think it does. I built it by describing my rules in plain English until a machine couldn't understand them. That's the entire skill now. And in this video, I'm giving you the exact process, 5 steps, and the actual prompts I used, and the part where it broke, and what I said to fix it. Quick context so you know why I bothered. Last year, a prop firm paid me $120,000 trading one model. That's documented. It's on their own leaderboard. I'm not a developer who got curious about trading. I'm a trader who got tired of drawing the same things every morning by hand. One warning before we start, and it's the most important sentence in this video. AI cannot give you an edge. It can only measure the one you already have. If you don't have a model with rules, this process will help you document a bad idea very precisely. Keep that in your head the whole way through. Step 1. So here's what almost everybody does. The first mistake. They open up the AI prompt and they type in, for example, build me an indicator that finds fair value gaps. And they get back something that technically runs, but is completely useless. So step 1 isn't a prompt. Step 1 is a test you run on yourself. Can you write your rules down with 0 words that require judgment? No strong, no clean, no significant. Those words feel like rules and they're not. They're vibes, and a machine will expose that instantly. That's actually the gift here. The AI is the first thing that will ever refuse to nod along with a vague model. So here's mine, written out, and this doubles as the model explanation if you're new. I only care about one window, the 8 to 9:30 New York. Price builds a range. One side of that range gets taken, high or low, and that sets the direction. After the 9:31 candle, the first fair value gap that prints is my zone, and I'm looking for the opposing liquidity as the draw. Range marked, 9:30 opens. First gap prints here. Low taken. The draw's up towards those equal highs. And that's it. That's the model. One window, one gap, one decision. Notice what's not in there? No judgment words. Every term is a thing you can point at on a chart. Now here's the moment I want you to steal. I fed it those rules, and before it wrote a single line of code, it came back with this. It told me 3 of my answers that had 2 possible readings, and picking the wrong one could make the indicator mark different setups than the ones I actually trade. Then it forced me to nail them down one by one. I've been training this model for over 2 years, and I had never been forced to answer these questions this precisely. I'd just been making the calls by feel. So this is the highest value prompt in the entire video, and it costs you nothing. Here are my rules. Before you write any code, list every place these rules can be read 2 different ways that would change the output. Run that on your own model. Whatever comes back is the list of decisions you've been making by feel. Fixing those made me a better trader before a single line of code existed. Once your rules survive that, then you build. Everybody's first request is, make me a profitable strategy. And that's the wrong order, and it will waste you weeks. Your first build should do exactly one thing. Draw what you have drawn by hand. No signals, no buy arrows, no backtest, just marks on a chart. The reason is verification, and it draws you can check it. Pull up 20 charts on your own eyes and tell you in 10 seconds whether it's right. It spits out a profit curve and you have no idea whether it's correct or whether it's confidently wrong, and confidently wrong is the expensive one. My first version did this. Every gap, all of them, which is technically what I asked for and completely useless. So here's the loop, and it's the same loop every single time. Catch it being wrong on a real chart, screenshot it, and explain why it's wrong in English, not fix the code. I said something like, it's marking gaps that formed before 9:31 and gaps outside the window. Only the first valid gap after the open should be marked, and only inside the window. It rewrote it. Version 3 marked the right gap, but it couldn't tell me anything about what happened afterward. Version 6 is when it stopped being a drawing tool and started being a measuring tool. And that's when this got genuinely interesting. Here it is, doing its job. Range lines mark themselves at 8 o'clock, and a side gets taken. Flagged automatically. 9:30 opens. The first valid gap prints. zone drawn, entry and invalidation marked, everything I used to draw by hand before my coffee was done. One rule that'll save you a bunch of time. Don't add a feature until the current one is right on at least 20 charts. Every time I broke that rule, I ended up with a tool that was wrong in 2 places at once and I had no idea what was causing that. 20 charts, then the next feature. Now, the part where it stops being a pretty drawing and starts being evidence. A drawing tool saves you time, and a measuring tool changes your mind. It's a big difference. And the second one is why you're going to be doing this. Once the indicator can identify the right zone, it can also count what happens to it every session, automatically and forever. You're about to have data about your own model that you never had. And that's exactly where people fool themselves. So this step has a rule attached, and it's non-negotiable. Decide what you're measuring before you see any results. If you build the panel first, then go looking for numbers, you will go metric shopping. You'll try 11 different statistics and keep the 2 that flatter you, and you'll have proven absolutely nothing. I write mine down first, literally in a document dated before the code exists. Track these 4 metrics and only these 4. Do not add metrics unless I ask. Mine. Did the gap get tapped? What type was it? Where the zone sat? How big the gap was? 4 things decided in advance. And before I show you a single number, one definition, because everything after this depends on it. You're about to see a stat called tapped. Tapped is not a win rate. Tapped means the price came back and tested the zone. That's all it means. It says nothing about whether a trade won or lost. I'm going to show you taps that would have lost money. And if you take one thing out of this video, take that distinction. It's the difference between measuring something and marketing something. And here's what came back. Tapped. 83.3%. The gap almost always gets tested. Inverted. Most gaps get traded through, not bounced from. So the inverted gap is information, not failure. Average max favorable move after tap, 95.5 points. That's not necessarily where the first target belongs, but where the data says it belongs. Additionally, there's RTH gap CE hit rate and RTH gap full fill rate. And here's one that changed my life more than any of them. This isn't even on the panel. It's the rule the panel let me trust. My model is 9:30 to 11 a.m. That's it. The tap hasn't come by 11, then there's no trade. Not probably not. No trade. I close the laptop, shut down the computer, I go get my day back. And that's what measuring buys you. Not a better entry, a shorter day. But 3 weeks of live sessions is a tiny sample. So let's go get more. Backwards. This is bar replay. I'm scrolling back through past sessions with the indicator drawing history exactly the way it draws it today. And I want to be clear about why I do it this way instead of just running a strategy tester and reading a number. A backtest report gives you a summary of something you never watched. This makes you watch it. You build actual pattern recognition. You start recognizing the shape of a good day and a dead day before the numbers say anything. The report tells you what happened. This teaches you what it looks like. Sort what you see into buckets. Mine are 3. Day 1, tap and run. Gap prints, price returns, taps, goes to target. The postcard version. This is the only day type most people ever show you. Day 2, inversion. Gap prints, price comes back and goes straight through it. Zone flips. Remember that inversion number? This is what it looks like. You only studied day 1, you'd think this model never loses. Day 3, nothing. No valid gap in the window. The indicator draws the range and then awaits, and nothing qualifies. No setup is the result. The tool never gets bored and forces one, which is more than I can say for myself. And now the honesty, because this is where these videos usually lie to you. 18 sessions. That is a small sample size. I know it, you know it, and anybody telling you they've got a validated edge off 18 days is selling you something. But what I can tell you is which numbers are behaving. The tap rate has been stable almost since day one. The average move number still bounces around every week. And that's a thing you should do too. Don't just track your stats. Track how much they're still moving. A number that's still swinging isn't a finding yet. Here are my log sessions. Which of these metrics have stabilized and which ones are still moving enough that I shouldn't rely on them? And none of this matters unless a number actually changes what you do. Last step. A statistic you don't act on is trivia. It's a fun fact about your own chart. So every number in my panel has to survive one question. What do I do differently now? If the answer is nothing, I stop tracking it. 3 steps. Define the thing, get the evidence, change one decision. If the third one doesn't happen, the first 2 were a hobby. Real example, inversion. Definition, an inverted gap is one price traded straight through instead of it respecting. Evidence, 3 out of 4 do it. Here's 2 of them. Early on, I marked days like these as the model failing and moved on frustrated. Decision changed. An inverted gap is now the majority case. So it's not the model broke, it's the zone flipped, reassesses toward the draw. Same chart, completely different response. And the only thing that changed was what I counted. Same thing with the 11 a.m. number. Definition, evidence, decision. I stopped watching. One number, one behavior. And this only works if you count the bad ones. This is me on July 9th posting live that the third target didn't come. Not today. I post those, not because I'm noble, but because the stats panel built only from days you felt good about is a mirror, not a measurement. If you're going to build this thing, log the days it was wrong with the same care as the days it was right. Or don't bother building it. So that's the process. Before you go run it, here's what none of this does. And this is the chapter I actually want you to remember. It doesn't predict. Nothing you saw today knows what the market was going to do next. The indicator describes. It measures what already happened. Any tool that claims otherwise is selling you a lottery ticket with a chart on it. It doesn't trade for you. Every decision in my process is still mine. The tools draw, count, and log. That's the entire job description. It will not fix a bad model. This is a big one. If your model loses money, this process will help you lose money with an excellent documentation. You'll have a beautiful statistics describing a bad idea. AI removed the tedious part of my testing. It did not and cannot supply the model. This is why I said it at the top, and I'll say it once more. AI can't give you an edge. It can only measure the one you already have. One more time on the definition because it matters. Every percentage you saw is a tap rate, not a win rate. That's why I show the misses too. The tools keep me honest. They don't make me profitable by themselves. 5 steps. Write your rules until a machine can't misread them. Build the drawing tool first. Decide what you're measuring before you measure it. Load your history and watch it draw. And let the numbers change exactly one decision. Run that on your own model. It costs you a weekend, but it'll tell you more about your trading than the last year of screenshots did. Here's my honest ask because I want to know. Write your model's rules in the comments below. 1 paragraph. You can't do it in 1 paragraph. That's not a failure. That's just step 1. And I'll read them. Next in the series is the same approach applied to journaling, strategy testing, and maybe a story too about getting banned. I narrate this model live most mornings on X, taps and misses both. It's at Tesla_lol, link below.